What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we got something very special. It's my cat right there. I got the King of Vertex steering wheel, D&D Performance Cruise Control adapter plate, the Workspell Night Runner International Quick Release, and the Workspell hub straight from Japan. Look, and these instructions are all in Japanese. So it does come with this nice little horn adapter for the IS300. This is the airbag light eliminator, and this is the hub hardware. Pretty nice stuff. Very good quality. Suede steering wheel. Gold backing. Horn. They said this one is for the Toyota GT86, which means FRS, those type of cars. And they said it wouldn't work for Toyota or Lexus, but for a Toyota or a Scion, as they stated, then it should fit this, because they all use a similar shape. So we're gonna bolt it up and see what happens. Now, prior to ordering all of these parts, I did email D&D Performance to confirm that this didn't fit any other Toyota or Lexus model. And as you can see, all of the holes line up perfectly. So this just shows to prove that they didn't do any testing on the Toyota and Lexus models to ensure that that item would fit on it. But I decided to take the risk and just buy it and see for myself, which shows that it does fit. So if you guys don't know, D&D Performance Scion FRS Cruise Control adapter plate does work for Lexus. It's a little resistor with the airbag, for the airbag, sorry. Here's a little plug for the horn and for the cruise control. And yeah, this thing is so Japanese. Everything is in Japanese. Literally everything. And it shows pictures, how to put the resistor and the clock spring and all that. They actually sent me one thing in English. Verification sticker, which is cool. Certified. Tokyo. So here's the original steering wheel. Since we are going to be removing the airbag, you're going to want to disconnect the battery, so let's do that. Coilovers right there. Oh yeah. $10mm. There is two T30 screws in here. I don't know if we're going to be able to see them. There's one, and there's another one on the opposite side. Right in there. I only have one in right now. This side is missing. So just take your T30 with the small extension. The screw's not going to come all the way out because it has some little lock. So this plastic right here actually holds the screw from coming out of this hole. So you're not going to get the screw to come out of this hole. It's going to stay in there. And this little tip kind of snags onto the airbag right here. So that's why you kind of have to pull the plastic down a little bit so the screw will get out like that. Disconnect the airbag. This clip, you just push it, the white part. You literally just push it. I'm doing it with one hand. That's it. There's your airbag. Cool. Now you're gonna want to disconnect your cruise control with the Phillips screwdriver. Again, you're gonna want to disconnect the battery because every time you ground this right here or touch something, your horn's gonna be honking. Just use my Phillips right here. So it'll push it and take it out. So that's how that comes off. There's a little ground for the horn right here. And then it just slides out right here. So here's your cruise control and your horn ground right here. Going to need an impact gun to take this off. Alright, so we're back here with our 19. So if you don't have an impact gun, you could use a breaker bar. For this part, you're gonna want to bang on the sides. To get it loose. And it'll come off just like that. It's 2 screws, 1, 2, and a third one on the bottom. From there, there's a plastic clip for the airbag. Flick that up. Push the release tab. And pull. And this is where your resistor is going to go. Here's the resistor. It's a fuse. 2 wires connected to that fuse. And the actual resistor is right here. In this part. So, stick these pins into here. 1, 2, and 2. Just for a little bit of extra safety, I'm gonna wrap some tape around it. So that way it's gonna stay on there. Alright, that's that. And then you're gonna wanna just tape it back there. Tape the resistor, or the wires for the resistor, right here. You don't want that thing moving and hopping all around. I got the resistor in there, and I kind of just taped it and tucked it out of the way. You have to remove the airbag to install a quick release steering wheel. So that's the only downside, having a quick release. There's no way around it, you know? That's that. This is just a little plug for the windshield wipers, but I did unplug it so I had more space to work with because it was just kind of in the way. That just plugs right back in right there. And you can just fold this tab back. The airbag sensor, unfortunately, you're gonna have to cut it. This isn't really gonna matter because you already have the airbag sensor unplugged under here, so you don't need this right. Just cut it right there. You don't need to worry about like this, if it has power or whatever. This doesn't have power because it's not connected down here. So that's fine. You don't need to tape it off or nothing like that. Bracket sits just like this. And the holes are drilled right here for the cruise control. I don't think I want my cruise control to be sitting all up. The dilemma. So this is what the holes lined up, and look at the angle of the cruise control. That's stupid. You want it to be like this, right? Well, that's going to require you to drill new holes. And we have to trim this little plastic piece because it's hitting the plastic bezel. So we're going to file that down right now. So I just put tape on it to make sure it doesn't get scratched. The punched holes, how it's actually going to sit. I'm actually using this little clamp to hold it in place. So that's how it's going to sit. I could have put it up a little bit more, but because of this piece right here, it would have been sticking up. So that's why it's kind of towards the bottom. I don't want it to be showing any of this part on the back. I'm going to use little metal spacers right here with the bolt and nut just to hold it on. So now I got the holes drilled. Alright guys, so now I'm back from Ace Hardware. This was the original hole, which I'm not going to be using. I drilled these 2 new holes, which I will be using. I didn't want there to just be a hole there. I decided to get these black bolts, which are just held on by a nut on the back. This is just going to be covering up the holes. We got spacers, 2 washers, 2 spacers, and 2 nuts. Bolt through, spacer, that on, washer, nut. I'm putting this on upside down. Why don't you guys say anything? So then this next side. The reason I got the spacer so big is that way I can have some adjustability. You see that? I can have some adjustability until I tighten it down. So none of those stupid unnecessary holes that I had. Alright. So that's how it looks right there. One of the problems being is that the wires are going to be too short to reach the clock springs, so you're going to have to extend those. There we go, guys. There it is. Sick. This plug plugs into the clock spring. Now, this plug is too big, so it doesn't fit in this hole to go to the clock spring. That means what you're gonna have to do is put the wires right here and extend it. Plug this into the clock spring, and you're gonna put butt connectors like this. So you can plug this in, feed the butt connectors in here, so you'll be able to connect both sides and be able to disconnect. You're going to be using these little butt connectors here, like that, on all 4 of these wires. That way you can unplug them and plug them in. Although you are going to need to wrap them with tape, because some of these wires have power. Currently, I am soldering the connections right here. This is what it looks like. So I actually decided to solder the butt connectors onto the wires themselves. It's just a more secure connection, because you know the butt connectors can be a bit flimsy. And the whole reason why I'm using these butt connectors is to have disconnect it inside of the hub, because you know this piece is big and it doesn't fit through the little hole inside of the hub. Finally done soldering all of these butt connectors on. Some of these have power, some do have ground. All of these are going to get shrink wrapped once I install them inside of the hub itself. We got all the wires fed through right here. I taped them all up just because I plugged the battery back in. So the recommended torque spec by Workspell for this nut is 22 foot-pounds. So we're going to go ahead and torque that now. We already got it set to 22. There we go. Put the plate on and feed the wires through. Do a little bit of tape around this to support the wires, because they're hella exposed right there and they look very, very brittle. We are finally done with the install. Yes, the horn still works. Let me go ahead and take this out. Take this off so you guys can see. It's kind of hard to do with one hand. Okay. So this is what it looks like. IS300 still has cruise control. It's not wobbly, it's just this switch is a little bit wobbly. So this was a little bit of a custom setup, as I stated before. I'm not going to go through all the wiring on the horn, but one wire is power, one wire is ground. This is power, this is ground. That's all you need to know. Red is power, black is ground. That's it. So as you can see here, I did use these little spacers to kind of space it back a little bit, because the shape of the cruise control button, it's not really square and flat, so you can't just really mount it flat flush against this plate, because if you do, it's going to be crooked. So that's why I use these little spacers here, and it doesn't look that bad. Steering wheel. Sick. Well, that's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you like the new steering wheel. I sure as hell do. Shout out to Night Runner International. So fucking sick. But yeah, catch you guys on the next one. Peace.